What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered the number one pound-for-pound boxer in the world, Terence Bud Crawford, had to essentially, in so many words, he had to save Rolly Ramirez, right? Because Rolly Ramirez put himself and Terence Crawford in a sticky situation at the Errol Spence Danny Garcia fight in Dallas, Texas, in which Rolly, he hustled one of Terence Crawford's close friends, and the close friend was getting upset, informed Terence Crawford of what took place. So Terence Crawford went back to Rolly and he, expressed that you need to return that man's money. He hustled him out of $20, which is not a lot of a lump sum of money, but it's the point, right? It's the respect factor in it all. And Terence Crawford approached Rolly Ramirez, and he told him, "Listen, you need to return that man money back because things could get sticky, and there's no need for it to go in that direction." And Rolly Ramirez got upset, and he threw $40 in Terence Crawford's face. Right? Rolando Romero, he is 12-0, 10 by way of knockout. He is, the interim WBA world champion at lightweight, right? He's scheduled to have another fight coming up January 23rd against Justin Poldo, right? And with that said, he's a young guy, 25 years of age, and his name is Rolando Florencio Romero Moreno, right? So Rolly is a TMT money team Floyd Mayweather fighter. And so he found himself in this situation because he admitted that he was hustling Terence Crawford's friend in this situation. And so when Terence Crawford confronted him and told him that he needed to return the money, Rolando, right, Romero, he then, I guess he got offended. He took $40 and threw it in Terence Crawford's face. So in Terence Crawford, instead of him reacting in a hostile manner and risking his career and putting it on the line, Terence Crawford then went and informed Floyd Mayweather, Rolly's promoter and mentor, and he informed him, "Listen, man, this guy is out of control, and I'm trying to prevent a situation from getting worse." Now we see Rolando, Romero. I keep calling him Ramirez, is Romero, right? Rolly Romero. We see him. He's very, very, expressive. He's never short on words. He gets back and forth into these, engaged in a lot of, verbal altercations with a lot of fighters like Gervonta Tank Davis, who was a stablemate of his, Devin Haney, so he goes back and forth. Ryan Garcia, this is just the makeup of who he is. But in this case, this is a learning lesson. And so everybody took to pretend that Terence Crawford and look at Terence Crawford in negative light and say, well, Terence Crawford essentially went and told Floyd Mayweather on him. And, they trying to cast Terence Crawford in a negative light for doing so. In all reality, Terence Crawford may have saved Rolando Romero's life in this situation because things can get really testy over $20. This is how things come. These are how things happen. And then people look back and they say, all of this took place over $20. No, it's the principle. Okay. It's the respect factor. It's the point. And the point of the matter is you just don't hustle people, and you knowingly hustle people, and you're bragging about hustling people. And then Terence Crawford approaches you and say, "Listen, man, do the right thing." Terence Crawford is his elder. Terence Crawford is 33 years old. Rolando Romero is 25 years old. So Terence Crawford is trying to give him some good advice, not just the fact that it's his friend, but Terence Crawford obviously, saw an opportunity to be, a mentor in this situation and let him know, listen, this could go sideways. You know what I mean? And he was the bigger man when Rolando Romero threw the $40, double the money, essentially saying, "I don't need your money." See, that's what people do. when you catch them up in a situation and you say, listen, man, you owe me $50, they'll get upset, they get defensive and throw $100, man. Here go $100. What? I don't need your $50. I could double it. And that's the attitude that you could clearly test to this situation with Rolando Romero when he got testy with Terence Crawford, and essentially he balled up $40 and threw it at Terence Crawford. Now, obviously, Terence Crawford being a professional boxer on a higher level, clearly he's a better fighter than Rolando Romero. He could have took offense to that, and he could have took this to a whole different level, and this could have been a whole different outcome. But he was the bigger man, the older man, right? The more settled person. You understand, in this situation, and he did it the right way. He corrected it the correct way, right? He didn't have to call Floyd Mayweather, but he let Floyd Mayweather know, listen, your fighter is out here living the wrong life. Floyd Mayweather just had a fighter that he lost to violence. You understand? And so you have another fighter out here who's living the wrong way. He's going about things the incorrect way, whether it be for $20, $10, or $10,000. Okay, when you go about that in that manner, you're asking for trouble. And Terence Crawford essentially could have saved Rolando Romero's his life ultimately. Why? Because he could have left there. That he don't know that gentleman, right? To that magnitude, or maybe he does, right? But guess what? Maybe he felt like he could do this. He could get over. Maybe this ain't the first time he got over on this particular gentleman. There's so many times you're gonna push a person to the brink, and you don't know the outcome. I personally know a lot of people in situations. I have a friend that I lost over a puppy. So one person went to incarceration, and another person is no longer transitioned over a puppy that was neither one of their puppies. This puppy did not belong to either gentleman. So you have two people essentially that their life came to an end over a puppy that didn't belong to either guy. And so these are how situations can escalate and go sideways. And before you know it, it's senseless. And the headline is always going to be, this all took place over $20. Well, it didn't take place over $20. It took place over respect. It took place over the fact that it's the principle. It's how you have to treat people in a respectful manner, right? And that is not going to bode well for many people. So the fact that this is the lane that he chose to go down, and he himself is only 25 years old with a future. He's an interim champion in the sport of boxing. He's signed with a mentor in Floyd Mayweather, and he's running the risk of that all coming to an end for $20 because he chooses to want to hustle one of Terence Crawford's close friends. And then when Terence Crawford approaches him and lets it be known, hey, listen, man, give my guy back his money, because you're hustling him. And then he gets defensive as if he didn't do anything wrong, as if he's being wrongfully accused, and then takes $40 to Terence Crawford. Now, Terence Crawford has clearly made more money in his career than Rolando Romero, and he throws $40, big money, at Terence Crawford, essentially to tell Terence Crawford, listen, I don't need your man's $20, and here go $40, by the way, because he needs it more than I do. That's the type of attitude that things could go sideways. Things could go left, right? These how situations escalate, because now you're offending somebody when you did them wrong, instead of you standing on your square and being a stand-up person and admitting fault. You want to get offensive as if they're doing you wrong because they caught you doing something wrong. And then this is the way you want to react. And this is how things escalate. And essentially, you're talking about guys that obviously people, we see them in these types of gambling situations, always never, more than likely, when it start to escalate and it gets to an altercation, they don't end well. They don't end well. And so here's a situation where people are trying to place blame on Terence Crawford for calling Floyd Mayweather and informing him, listen what your fighter's out here doing. He's causing issues, and he could essentially be placing himself in harm's way. No, Terence Crawford was the bigger person. Terence Crawford was the more mature person. Terence Crawford handled this correctly. And Rolando Romero needs to take a long look in the mirror. And Floyd Mayweather needs to, have a long sit down with him and explain to him the ropes, because this could have went sideways very, very quickly. Luckily for him, Terence Crawford was the bigger guy in the situation, which allowed both guys' cooler heads to prevail and this to all come to a calm conclusion. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.